Hey, concrete fans, welcome back to the Joy of Concrete. This is Mr. Concrete, and today we're going to be making some objects, concrete objects, from found objects. We're going to start with this, which I'll let you guess what this is. I'm no shill, so I'm not going to say exactly what it is, but you can use your imagination. Something I like to drink. And we're going to take the bottom of this. Something that I would recommend everyone take a look around your house or your office. And I guarantee you've got some interesting containers just sitting around that you can potentially cast some gray matter into and make a beautiful object for at home. So we've done. I'm going to maybe stick to the X-Acto knife. When you're using X-Acto knives, be very careful. Cut away from yourself. Do not have too much of your blade sticking out. X-Acto knives are the most common art school injury and one of the most common just workplace injuries in general. Is people cutting themselves with an X-Acto knife. They're crazy sharp, and one wrong move and you're going to be going to get stitches. I've cut myself probably, at least 3 times with an X-Acto knife and needed to be stitched back up. Thankfully, nothing permanent, but if you're not careful, there we go. Here's our first object. So this is what the object's going to look like when we're done, except it'll be concrete. But this is how we're going to pour into it, like this. So there's one absolutely free found object mold. The next object mold I've got is this little plastic piece. I think this was a headrest of an action figure inside of some packaging, but I thought it could be a fun shape. You can't really see what it is on camera, but we're going to cast into that. And then I've got a bunch of these little cup things, which have a divot in this side and some cool design work there. These are jelly cups. I crush these, so I've got a ton of these sitting around the house. And here's our 3 colors. So today we're working with, I got this off the handy Concrete website. Today we're going to work with black, which is 1 kilo of gray matter mixed with 70 grams of black. We're going to work with red, which is 1 kilo of gray matter mixed with 30 grams of red pigment. And then we're going to work with a blended color pink, which is 1 kilo of gray matter, 50 grams of white pigment, and 10 grams of red pigment. Something that we've been considering for 2020 is the idea of pre-batching some of these blended colors and selling them on the website. Is that something you'd be interested in? Let me know in the comments. I'm pointing at comments below. Now, even though I gave you color codes mixed to the kilo, 1 kilo, I actually, these were mixed to 500 grams because we don't need a whole kilo for what we're doing, but it's very difficult to mix colored pigment in with concrete less than 500 grams. So 500 grams is a nice place to work. I've got my handy Sriracha water here, and here's our measuring cup, which is approximately 50 milliliters. Just dump that in. We'll start mixing. So this one, that's our black. And you all know that we mix to feel. So you could take a little more than 50 mil, especially if you're not taking it out of this container to mix. So I'm going to give it a beginning mix like that, and then I'm going to let it just chill for a bit. Let's see. I think that's red. This is probably pink. There we go. Uh-oh. An ancient arrowhead was in our concrete. I take concrete right from our big bulk bins. So sometimes we end up with things like this in the concrete. The concrete you get in the mail from us won't have this. It gets sifted, it's run through the processing of us, and there won't be big arrowheads in there. But if you do find an arrowhead, you know what? Send me a message with a picture of the arrowhead, and we can talk about it. Maybe it's worth something. There we go. That's looking good. How do you like to mix concrete? I like to mix it like this. I start in the tub. Oh, there's our color. Okay. I start in the tub, but I really think the best way to mix is just right down like this with your hands. Oh, maybe this was red. It is currently winter, which means things are a little drier than usual. I may have put too much water in here. This is why you should always measure your water, because that's a little too. I think we're going to be okay. That's too much, though. This is a bit too liquid. We're going to be fine. After we pick up all of our, I'm working on a piece of plastic right now because I don't want to, this is a brand new tabletop for me, and I don't want to totally make it pigmented right off the bat. So I'm hoping if I use, and this is a good practice for you too. You take, I should have cut a bigger piece of plastic, but a 2x2 sheet of plastic, and could even be a garbage bag that you cut in half and two-way tape it down to your tabletop, and you've got a work surface. Okay. This would be our pink. I'm just going to go straight to the dump out here. So I was trying to mix pink first with dump out because you get the least amount of color contamination as we go through it. So pink was going to be my first color. Instead, we did red. Red and pink, not a big deal. Our pink might be a little bit darker than what we originally intended, but it doesn't matter. And now we're going, this time we're going to mix making pasta style. Make our well. Pour water in the well. Push the sides in. Once it's mixed enough that you know that your well is not going to get away on you, you can push the rest of it in. And there we go. What? Is this red as well? Maybe I mixed up red and black. This happens. I'm usually paying attention, but I'm not always paying the most amount of attention. And so sometimes I mix up the same color twice. Well, when that happens, you just roll with it. Red and black is still nice. Pink would have been a fun addition, but there's always tomorrow. It's 2020. Welcome to the new year. Welcome to the future. 2020 feels like a very futuristic year to me. Just when I was a youngster, I would have pictured, if I was going to make a movie about the future, it would have been like, oh, it's in 2020, way in the future. But now we're in 2020, and things don't feel that. Things are futuristic, but they're not that futuristic. Still no flying car, which is kind of the benchmark for the future, isn't it? laser beams, flying cars, robots. Without those three things, we are yet to be in the future. But once we have them, oh buddy. So, yeah. Red, red, black, no problem. This is a little bit better consistency. You might look at this and say, that's too dry. I look at this and say, that's almost there. Watch. See? So that is a nice consistency for marbling. If you want to get really distinct lines in your marbling, that's kind of what you want. And you know what it might do? Maybe that double red was a blessing in disguise. I might just go like this. I might just leave that red. We won't use it. Today we're mixing red and black. Not red, black, and pink. Just red and black. That should do. Now for black. You're probably thinking, oh, your plastic, it's so red. What are you gonna do? We'll be fine. We'll be fine because black is overpowering. And I don't even really like calling it black. I'd say it's charcoal. Concrete has such a heavy, creamy kind of tan base to it. It's very difficult to get crazy, crazy saturated colors. So, and black is especially challenging when you're working with mineral pigments. No matter what the grade of your mineral pigments, our mineral pigments are the very best. We still have a difficult time getting black. The color codes that we give you on the website are, they're about as saturated as I like to go. You get any more saturated than about 50 grams of pigment per kilo of concrete, and you start making mechanical concessions in terms of the integrity of your mix. Your concrete's not going to be as strong. It's not going to be as strong, so we're mixing right to the limit, as saturated as we can get it. You may see, maybe you'll see someone out there that mixes an even more saturated color than us, but I would say if you do, be careful. Be careful what you plan to do with that concrete, because there'll be places where it won't perform. We're giving you mix instructions that are how to mix the concrete if you're going to use it for anything. If you're going to use it for exterior cladding for your home, if you're going to use it for a vessel that's going to hold water, if you're going to use it for a tile for your shower, if you're going to use it for just coasters or an ashtray. But giving you the versatility that we don't have to make a bunch of different mix designs to do all those different things. With what I'm giving you right here, you've got a concrete that can, I don't want to say do it all, but do a lot. So we've got our two mixes. They're feeling firm. You've done this before, I hope. If you haven't done this before, what are you waiting for? Go to concreteconcrete.com, get some gray matter, check out some of our tutorials, and start making some stuff. Let's have a look. What do you think about that? Or that? That's very nice. I think that's ready to go into container number 1. So let's drop that right in. The best thing, my favorite thing about plastic containers like this, they're a nice way to experiment, but I love that you can see if there's air. I don't think you could, I couldn't see anything. Flip it over quick. Yeah, so that's how it's going to look. Okay, there's one. We got that. Here. Nice and level. Do your leveling work now. One of the most beautiful things about gray matter is it is self-consolidating, self-leveling. So you can make your life easy. Now we've got our little thing. I don't know what this is. Just a little plastic bit. And it's going to be kind of fragile. So I'm going to tap this in. Like so. Tap that in like so. I'm probably denting up this plastic, but who cares? Not a big deal. Okay. There we go. And now all the jelly cups. I'm crushing so many jellies. No konjaku in these ones because konjaku is a type of jelly that's not water soluble. Unlike other gelatins, it's made from the starch of a root of a type of a plant, a lily, like a water thing. But it's you know what? Someone's going to correct me in the comments. That's probably not what it's made of. It's made of a root of some. It's a starchy root stuff of I think a flower. But the problem with it, or one of the things you need to be really careful with konjaku is that it doesn't dissolve in water. So it's a major choke hazard. Not good for kids. Don't give it to kids. Even though it feels fun, these are fun. These containers still smell great. Smell like, well, they smell okay. They smell like a strawberry shortcake doll, which you may have positive or negative memories about. But just that artificial strawberry flavor smell. Okay, how many of these should I make? What am I going to do with them? I have an idea what I'm going to do with them. I like to play Dungeons and Dragons, and these feel like there's something for that. Little Dungeons and Dragons. This is going to be a bowl or some kind of thing, and these are going to be terrain pieces. That was my plan for today. So we'll see what we get. And we're going to have a little bit of leftover concrete, but I'm going to stop at one more because I'm sure you're done watching me do this at this point, right? Or hopefully you're following along and then you're not bored at all. I'd really encourage you to follow along. Grab some concrete, grab some things. Mix with me, or at least a few times. Watch how I mix because it'll help you. It'll make your life so much easier if you follow along with how I like to mix concrete using gray matter and studio grade pigments. And you can use found molds. You can also get molds off of concreteconcrete.com, or you can make your own molds. Do whatever you want. I don't care. Just get some concrete and have fun with it. Okay, there's our bits, and we're gonna let these sit for like a day, and we'll come back to it and demold, and I'll catch you then. So thanks everybody, and see you now. Hey concrete fans, we are back with our objects, and time to see what we made. I'm the most excited, I think, about this little guy. Now, one thing to mention, using found objects as your molds, is that not everything's going to be able to demold. So in the case of most of these, we're going to actually have to wreck the plastic, rip it, shred it to get it out. Yeah, especially on this one, it's got some really fine detail. This little sidewall. See how thin that gets? I'm worried about that. That's pretty thin. If I was designing this mold, I would not have made an area that thin. But because I just found it, I can do whatever I want. And it's not a huge, the expense is not that high, so who cares? Let's see if we can get this mold off here without busting up that piece. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, that's thin. Look at that. We've got one little object, which I think is an interesting little thing. Like I said before, I think I'm going to end up using these for Dungeons and Dragons. Little pieces, terrain pieces, but that's a great little terrain hiding thing. I don't know what it is exactly, but I've got it. Now for these two, I think I'm probably going to end up, wrecking the plastic to get them out, but oh, that's a fun one. That little bit. Found objects are great to cast in because, number one, they're inexpensive. And if you're using a nice quality concrete, you're going to get these beautiful, nice finishes. No voids, so clean, colors so bright. Oh, fun. If we wanted to, we could wash, wax, seal. These things would really brighten up. Start getting rid of these. Onto our dish made from a juice, some form of juice container. Let me know in the comments if you know what kind of juice this was taken from. Do you? Now, something like this is big enough that it actually might not have to rip it to get it out. If I had a little bit of compressed air, you could potentially blow a little air in there. Oops. Blow a little air in between the mold and the concrete, and this would fly off. There we go. I think I got an edge up. Let's see if I can get my... You know what? Had I have not filled it right to the edge, we'd have something to work with right now to be able to push this up. I'm going to see if I can use my X-Acto knife to catch the edge of this plastic and just push it up off the concrete. A little cut right there, and we're going to rip this off and toss it into the recycling bin. I don't want to spend too much time. There we go. Ah, very fun. So, piece of plastic, got it from a juice jug of some sort, and now I've got this. This is an ashtray. It's a dish. It's, you know, whatever you want it to be, really. Give this a little wash, a little wax, and you've got something. For almost, the mold work was almost free. Had to drink the juice, but I can drink juice. Now these things, I'm not going to open all of them. I have a feeling these are going to be let's open a couple of them. But these two, they're going to be a rip-off one. So we're going to make a little cut with our X-Acto knife, give it a little rip, and then it should just pop off. There's one. I'm going to do three. Because I got that. Two. One more. Three. So now we have these three. Things like that. Oh, not as cool as I thought it was going to be. But, yeah, not bad. So experiment at home. Let me know. I'd love to see pictures of the objects that you find and what you make out of them. These are little. These could be little huts or some sort of thing. These could be a leg or a foot for something. I don't know. Whatever. But I'd love to hear what you make with our gray matter, and just keep working. Keep having fun in concrete. Let me see. I'd love to see what you make. So. That's all for now. I'll talk to you later.